Jones on speed. Accelerate! Gareth Jones on speed.
Welcome to Gareth Jones on Speed. I'm standing next to Richard Porter.
I'm standing next to Zog.
And I'm standing on the edge of a precipice, I guess.
Hey, who read that thing about the Gee Whiz recently?
Yeah,
Oh, I know about this.
interesting.
For people listening outside of the UK who perhaps haven't seen this car, it's a tiny, very curt, very short 2+2 electric city car that's doing particularly good business in London at the moment because of a congestion charge whereby you have to pay to drive into the centre of town during certain hours during weekdays. If you've got an electric car or a hybrid, you don't pay.
You're
that.
exempt.
Yeah.
And so, also you can park a G-Whiz for free in London.
That's right, yes, I'd forgotten that. There are lots of them about. You see them everywhere.
Yeah. Top Gear magazine tested a G-Whiz and crashed it at TRL. And I suspect that the Department of Transport, who works with TRL, went, uh-oh, this sounds bad. So they bought a G-Whiz and did their own crash test and then immediately released the results because I think they didn't want to look like monkeys who'd taken their eye off the ball. Strange monkey football metaphor. But anyway, they didn't want to look like monkeys, but being shown the way by a magazine who'd discovered that this car was unsafe when the DFT hadn't. So it's all a bit political. But yes, 2 G-Whiz crash test results and scary.
Little electric cars like that are, I can absolutely see they're a great thing for the city. And, it's a good thing that we should be driving smaller, lower emissions vehicles, in cities like London, no question about it.
Yeah.
I just wish that they looked like, Fiat Cinquecentos, old type, rather than G-Whizzes, which look awful.
Now, this is your theory, isn't it? You want to do this.
Well, I'm throwing this idea out there for free. I think I really want somebody to make an electric Cinquecento, an electric car that looks like the old Fiat 500. But I think
Nuovo Cinquecento.
I know.
Paging Gordon Murray.
I know I'm never going to do it. I'm not going to get around to doing it. So somebody else can do it. And if they just give me one of the cars, that'll be fine.
Of course, the eternal problem with the electric car, which we've talked about on this show before, where does the electricity come from?
Yeah, the electricity that you use to charge it up is produced in a coal-burning power station, and so you produce more CO2 to charge the thing up.
Here's a thing for you, a little stat for you. I've just been up to the Drax power station in North Yorkshire, near Selby.
Well, you had an afternoon off, did you?
Yeah. It's part of my new book, Great Power Stations of the World. And the Drax power station is the largest coal-fired power station in Britain. They claim it's also one of the most efficient. However, that does not offset the fact that the central chimney at Drax emits in 1 year as much CO2. This is one chimney. As much CO2 as a quarter of all the cars in Britain.
Yeah.
7.5 million cars driving round and round and round and round and round one area in North Yorkshire. That's what that chimney is doing the equivalent of.
Wow.
So I just think it's one of those things where it gives you a little bit of perspective on the CO2 debate that I think the car is sometimes unfairly singled out. This power station is the largest industrial source of CO2 in Western Europe.
Yeah.
Can I suggest a subversive Gareth Jones on Speed campaign then? Right? That every time you see a G-Whiz, right, we should make these stickers available that say things like nuclear powered, because some of them are getting nuclear power, aren't they? There's plenty of it going on there. Or my car is harming the environment far more than a car with petrol engine, and you just slap it on. Would you think? Yeah, perhaps not.
Given these crash tests, I was thinking of a picture of Lynn Folds Wood with the phrase "potential death trap" written underneath.
Radio Speed.
And with the debate about electric cars continuing and the time coming up to almost 1:15, right now here's the new single from the king of electronica himself. Here's Barry Numan.
I'd side with buying a Toyota, but a hybrid's not my style. I like electronics and calculators. I like calculators. Fuel's expensive if you pay by the mile. The fuel cells for fools hell. I'm not sure if it'll even work. I don't want watching my doors by, even if my car's a Merc. Hydrogen sounds like an option. Away and stay in motion. Although, like you, I must admit, I'm worried about an explosion. I decided to buy myself one of those down from pain, the congestion charge. Oh, my automobile's electronic, it sometimes produces sparks. My car's electric, I'm gonna recharge it when I'm down in the park. The underground car park, or somewhere. My automobile's electronic, it sometimes produces sparks. My car's electric, I recharge it when I'm down in the park. I'm gonna buy myself a G-Wiz. It's environmentally friendly, got little cash, up to 30 miles per hour. Oh, but I'm trash. It's cute and small and friendly. It's frankly fantastic. And just like Sinclair's C5, it's mostly made of plastic. It's iconoclastic. Oh, I'm having trouble with my BMW. I'm serious. It's the iDrive, the graphical user interface. I'm telling you, this is serious. I drive, you drive. I drive, you. Oh, in a vain attempt to stop pollution, I'll turn to technology for my solution. Now the cars are electronic. I'm going to get my bill by Bose or Ensonic. Mine's broken.
Just as a little background for these crash tests, what happened when Top Gear magazine got this G-Wiz that they bought? They took it to TRL and they went, right, could you stick your dummies in it? Crash test dummies. Now,
Transport and Research Laboratory.
Transport Research Laboratory in Berkshire. They have these full instrument dummies that they do the NCAP tests with. They're worth 130, 150 grand. They're so sophisticated. The TRL people went, I'm sorry, we will not put our high-tech dummies in that car because they will be destroyed and we can't afford to lose 150 grand. So they had to use the more low-tech, old-school dummies, which are essentially a metal skeleton with a rubber skin over the top. And during the test...
Hang on, old school dummies, do they wear like bandanas on their head tied back?
Yeah.
And sort of floral hooded
Listening on
t-shirts?
Run DMC. You know?
During the test, one of their bright white shell-toe trainers became irreparably damaged. But it's like that, and that's the way it is.
Feel the heat
See,
back.
completely undermining what a serious point I was trying to make, and I'm just messing around. What I was going to say was, terrifyingly, these dummies have metal bones, and the metal bones in the driver's legs temporarily, during the impact, became part of the crash structure because they were absorbing energy. And I've checked, and the human bone is not designed to do that. Ergo, the G-Wiz is very, very scary in a crash.
But there's an interesting question here, I think, about whether the G-Wiz should have to conform to the same crash test standards, the same safety standards as a full-size car.
Yeah.
You know, because you're not going to drive it on the motorway, or if you do, you're insane. You're only going to drive it around town.
Yeah.
And if a G-Wiz has to conform to the same kind of safety specs, why not a motorbike or why not a bicycle? And a reason why the question is important is that in order to make something like the G-Wiz conform to those kind of safety standards, it's going to have to get bigger and heavier. And when something gets bigger and heavier, you need a lot more energy to move it around and to stop it. And
My opinion is that the biggest flaw with the G-Wiz, it's a great idea, lovely they're trying something, I respect that, but as long as there are people driving Discoveries and Hummers and trucks around, you're just too vulnerable out there.
Yeah.
In a world in 10 years' time when all cars are 30-40% lighter than they are now, it's going to make quite a big difference. But until
I'd still say that if you got hit in a G-Wiz by a Lotus Elise, you'd be toast. It's that bad.
Yeah.
So,
it is a flimsy piece of rubbish by the looks of it, I should say, if any lawyers are listening. However, that's your. If you choose to drive that thing, if you choose to ride that thing around town, it's your choice and it's your responsibility. And why should the makers of the G-Wiz have to make the thing as safe as a 1-ton lump of metal?
however, I think in making a choice, you should have all the information available. And until now, no one has been aware of just how flimsy the G-Wiz is. So now we are. Make your choice. Go out there. Probably don't put your kids in it.
Certainly don't let them drive it.
Initiate the next stage of Senna Hackett recombinant sequencing. Route all control facility.
Our leader approaches. I am the Supreme Dalek. You will obey. Hello, Ron. We obey.
Hello, Ronnie.
We obey. You will report on the progress of Project C.
Unit 73 is in operation now. It has exceeded all previous targets and has...
Silence! Unit 73 has taken 4 races to move into the lead of the Triverse Championship. You have failed. Anything less than immediate domination is a failure for the Daleks. Explain yourself.
Oh, look! Over there! Running across the lawn! Isn't that Juan Pablo Montoya?
Exterminate! Exterminate!
Exterminate!
Exterminate! Who ate all the pies?
You did! You did!
Gareth down 10 speed. Mad as an onion.
Hey, you know, while we're talking about F1, have
Yeah.
you seen this thing which I was reading the other day? Robert Kubica,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Polish driver.
Yeah.
We know, because we were told a while ago by a Polish listener, Kubica is the correct pronunciation
That's
of his
right,
surname,
yeah.
right? Some people erroneously call him Kubica. Now, apparently, he said, that's fine. Actually, Kubica sounds faster to me, so you can call me Robert Kubica if you want. I don't get this.
Robert Kubica, Robert Kubica, Robert.
Robert Kubica, thanks for joining us here on Gareth Jones on Speed again.
Happy times.
Yeah. Can we just clear up this once and for all? How do you pronounce your name? Is it Robert Kubica? Or is it Robert Kubica?
Yes, he's Robert Kubica. And also Robert Kubica.
What?
Robert Kubica.
Enough of this speaking of my name. Please now, we go... Oh, look, that's a nice performance car from Japan. A Subaru Impreza. I like those. My eyes are going funny. I think the bulbs in this room, they are flickering. Anyway, now we go for some please Italian food. Maybe a picker. It's very nice. Happy times. Thank you, please.
Robert, by the way, seriously, we're very pleased you survived that horrible crash.
High five.
I love the smell of petrol in the morning.
Petrol.
Gareth Jones on Speed.
Richard, you've got this thing about how do you know when
Oh.
you spot a car? Is it? What is it that's
no,
driven by someone who really knows about cars? Explain.
Right, well, I was driving here today, and I was behind someone in a Renault Clio 182, the old shape one, and I thought,
yeah.
you usually see those, and you think, whoever's driving that, they've made a conscious decision to buy it. You don't buy one by accident, and it implies to me that you probably know a little bit about cars and you like driving, ergo you are people like us.
Yeah.
And it set me thinking about other cars where you see one, you think, you did not buy that by accident. You're one of us. You like cars, and you've gone out and you've sought that car out because you believe it's the best car for whatever it is you want, but it's going to be fun and all the rest of it.
Give us an example.
All right, well, here's another one. The Mini, the new Mini,
Yeah.
not per se a car for people who know a lot about cars. Even the Cooper S, because I think sometimes you'd go, oh, I just really like the Mini,
Yeah.
and I seem to have a lot of money, so I'm going to buy the most expensive one you've got, please, Mr. BMW.
Yeah.
However, if you see a Cooper S, particularly the old shape, in, say, the dark grey colour with dark grey roof, not the white roof or the black roof, it's got everything is just body coloured, possibly even not on the biggest wheels, which make it look the best but not drive the best. If it's on the smaller wheels, it's all one colour, and maybe even got the works pack on it, you think, all right, there's somebody who actually took the time to spec that car correctly for driving pleasure.
Along these lines, I would go for any old Italian car that doesn't have huge rusty holes in it, because you know that that's taking a lot of work to keep on the road.
Yeah.
We've all owned old Italian cars. I'm right in thinking. I know you,
Yeah,
and I have. I don't know, you, Richard.
No,
have you?
old British car, but not old.
Same sort of thing. It's the more
But
energy,
even less reliable.
Yeah, it requires a lot of involvement, doesn't it?
A lot of love.
A
I
lot
think,
of love,
it's,
yeah.
it's kind of rewarding, but there's a price to pay.
But can I just
you know.
expand my theory? Because
Yeah.
sometimes you see a car like a Mercedes CLS AMG,
Yeah.
the 55 or the 63. Very, very good cars indeed. However, you can't guarantee when you see one go by that the person driving it will be somebody that perhaps you could hold a good conversation with, because actually, they might have just gone into a Merc dealer and gone, I've got a lot of money, I like the look of that, I'd like the most expensive one you do, please.
Fat slob's car.
It's not a car that really tells you anything. Now, the flip side of this is that there are cars that are the exact reverse of this. You know the person driving that vehicle doesn't have a clue.
Exactly.
And top of my list for that will be the Vauxhall Frontera.
So I see your Vauxhall Frontera and I raise you a Nissan Figaro.
Ooh!
Now, I'm torn on this because I actually really, really like the Figaro. It's a great
you wouldn't
little
buy
car.
one, though, would you?
No, I wouldn't buy one, but I can understand why people can buy one. The Frontera, on the other hand, not only do I not understand why anybody would buy one, I just know there's no excuse.
Oh, I've just thought of another one actually for people who. Actually, the worst thing possible. I always get this. I go to weddings and things. Not professionally. I just have found myself. I'm just making up the numbers.
It's just a hobby.
He's reasonably tall and can wear a suit. So I found myself at weddings and people go, "Oh, you're cars. You like cars, do you?" And I go, "Yeah." And they go, "Oh, I'll tell you what, it's a good car. Vauxhall Calibra." Or I've got one of those. And you go, "Oh dear." People who think they know a lot about cars. Now you and me and Gareth, we're massive car geeks. So. Knowing a little bit about cars isn't good enough for us. So when some bloke goes, "Hey, I tell you, best car I ever owned, Astra 2 litre." Oh, please shut up. Yeah. And I've just thought of that. A great car for people who think they know about cars but actually don't. Yeah. The Mitsubishi 3000 GT.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, it's a clank.
Brutal. The GT.
A lot of technology, a lot of weight, Superficially, it's got
exactly.
a lot
You
going
can
for
see
it.
why, if you didn't really know your stuff, you might think it was quite good.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Rubbish, unless you're an American. In which case it makes a bit of sense out there. Okay, cars for people who think they know about cars but they've made a bad choice. Any Vauxhall...
Jensen Button, maybe.
Careful, nice one.
Sorry.
Cars for people who know about cars, people who know about cars. Right. Any Vauxhall Cavalier with... Go faster stripes down the side, a Venetian blind in the back window. There's a guy on this road. I will take a picture of it and I'll put it on the site if I can find it. It's the worst spec'd up car I've ever seen in my life.
I've just thought
the worst pimped car, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole different thing, and I've just thought of something else that's a different thing.
Right.
Which is just reminded me of with mentioning Jensen Button. This is an entirely different topic. Why do racing drivers always have such bad taste in road cars?
Oh, they buy chintzy, nasty
I mean,
stuff,
not when they
don't
have to drive something because they're sponsored by them, you know. But given of their own volition, any car they want, and racing drivers generally not short of money. Damon Hill, for example.
Yeah.
Audi TT.
Oh, and a TT. No.
He has a TT. Now, the TT looks nice, but again, it's one of those cars that people who don't know much about cars drive, because actually the old one, new one's not so bad, old one, very dull car to drive.
Well, I think the rather mundane explanation, I think, is simply that racing drivers, they get their kicks and they get their experience of awesome automotive engineering on the racetrack.
Yeah.
When they're off the racetrack and they're driving a road car, they just want something that's going to get them and the kids to the supermarket and back.
Well, that's why...
and they really, I think a lot of the time, you expect them to drive, Porsche Carrera GTs and stuff, and they don't. They drive.
But that's why Damon's TT puzzles me, because that's like he was sort of on his way to an interesting driver's car, and then stopped at the Audi TT rather than pushing on through to say the Nissan 350Z or something like that. It was almost like he was nearly there.
My vote for the discerning car buyer, right? If you see someone driving a Mazda RX-8, right, which is wait for it. If you see someone driving a Mazda RX-8, a lovely car. I think it's an inspired bit of engineering. I like its left-handed quality. I like the rotary engine. I like the front fenders, if you like. But if you alongside them, wind down your window, ask them to wind down, and say, which version did you get? The 231 brake horsepower version, or is that the 192? And if they shout back, it's the 192 by choice,
then you know that they...
Maybe they just
it's a
better.
They've compared the two. And
it's a better car. It is a much better car. To say it's overpowered is wrong, but the fact that the 192, it's a better geared car for the way that the engine is tuned. It's a more usable car. So
more torque.
And better even than the Pro Drive version, the PS, whatever it's called. Anyway.
Can I just tell you, just before I forget, because I remembered this, the racing driver thing, do you know about Fernando Alonso? And he was given a Clio V6 by Renault when he was driving for them, and he sent it back. Didn't like it. He doesn't like powerful road cars.
Really?
And he switched it in for, bearing in mind he could have had anything he wants from the Renault stable, not the best in the world, but The Clio V6 is probably the zenith of their drivers' cars, but no, he didn't want it, and he chose a Megane diesel convertible, which he really likes, I'm told.
I'm seeing a whole new side to Fernando Alonso's character.
Well, God knows what Merc he's got now. Oh, yes, I'll just have the A160 diesel, please, or something. It's just, it's extraordinary.
If you were Fernando Alonso, now where's he going to drive this car? Where does Alonso live? Does he live in
lives
Monaco?
in Oxford.
Yeah, in Oxford.
Yeah, he lives in Oxford.
You'd kind of probably want to keep the lid on. You wouldn't want to be parading yourself around so everyone would go, look, it's Fernando Alonso. A convertible's a weird choice.
Well, with the British weather, you want something with the roof that's going to go up and down pretty quickly.
I've said that, but I'm not.
That car's not the one then, is it?
I don't know, because he might have a place in Spain or in Monaco. But I don't know where he keeps the diesel cabrio, but I don't know whether he still lives in Oxford now. That was when he was at Renault. He might have moved to Woking.
He does have a place in Switzerland.
Switzerland.
I believe so.
Doesn't everyone?
Yeah, I'm just popping over to my place later.
Yeah.
As soon as I can get the private jet.
But it wasn't just me. It's goodbye from Richard Porter.
Goodbye.
It's goodbye from Zog.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye. This episode of Gareth Jones on Speed was made entirely on location in Stoke Newington by Whiz Bang. The next episode will come from the Le Mans 24-hour race. See you there.